It is an absolutely beautiful day in Costa Rica. I am off to San Gerardo del General now to get to the goal of finally finishing Cerro Chirripo. It should be like a 3-hour drive, even though it's relatively close. But road trip. Cerro Chirripo is the tallest mountain in Costa Rica, and it's not technically difficult at all. It's just long and high altitude, but for a reason that I'll get into, this is the one mountain I've not been able to finish that I started. I've done Quandary Peak in Breckenridge, Colorado. I've done Cerro Lopez in Bariloche, Argentina. I've been up Rucu Pichincha in Quito, Ecuador. I've done Cerro Chato in La Fortuna, Costa Rica. I've done Cerro Tusa in, what is it called, Valencia, Colombia. I've done hikes. I've done the Salcantay trek from Cusco to Machu Picchu. I've done some really, really tough hikes. And Cerro Chirripo is the one that I couldn't do, the one I couldn't finish. I was just really underprepared for it. I left way late in the day, and by late I mean like 8 a.m. Whereas everyone else leaves at like midnight, between midnight and 2 o'clock. That way you can avoid the rain. Unfortunately, I was not able to avoid the rain, and I got dumped on very badly. And I was so freezing cold, so soaking wet. All my clothes were soaked, all my gear was soaked. And I finally got to the refugio. I had to get clothes from the Lost and Found. I'm keeping these bugs happy. I had to get some clothes from the Lost and Found where I let mine drip to dry. And I was cramping so bad. I met some folks up there who gave me muscle relaxers. They gave me hot tea. They gave me a meal and everything. And I was just really, really struggling. And the next morning, my clothes were still wet, so I wasn't able to make it to the summit. And so this happened in 2019. So for the past 5 years, I've been just obsessing over this one hike I wasn't able to finish. And I've done tougher hikes. I've done a lot tougher hikes before then and since then. So now I brought myself back to this beautiful town in Costa Rica called Rivas. Yep. And everyone knows everybody. There's so much love and peace and joy here. Everyone's like really into nature, and it's amazing to be around so many like-minded people. And a lot of the folks here have done Cerro Chirripo. So I brought myself back to this town for one reason and one reason only, and that is to finally climb Cerro Chirripo. I am taking a quick little drive, probably like a 20-25 minute drive because the roads are bad, to the trailhead for Cerro Chirripo, the one mountain I was not able to finish. I know I need to get out of my own head because since I failed this hike back in 2019, I've done hikes that are 3 times as long and 5 times as hard. So it's an easy hike. I just need to get out of my own way. The key differences between this time and last time is this time I'm starting the hike before 3 a.m. I started at 8 o'clock a.m. last time, and I got rained on, and I got soaked, and that was just unbearable. Also, I have trekking poles. Having trekking poles is an immense difference when it comes to hiking. And the third thing is, I'm gonna do it. I told myself I'm gonna do it. The sound of the river, I love it. I told myself I'm going to do it. I told myself I'm going to make it, and so there's nothing that's going to stop me. So I got much more determination, and I'm just happy to finally knock this one off my list, this one mountain I couldn't beat. All right, 2:43 in the morning. I'm at 4,970 feet elevation. And I was about to start this little solo hike, but I just met two ladies, and they said they have a group of 20 if I want to join them. And why the hell not? It'll make it a lot easier when you have people to go with. And so I'm gonna wait around probably 15, 20 more minutes for me to hike with them. And I'll probably turn this thing back on. I'm at the 7 kilometer mark, 2:43. I say 7 kilometers. I should be there about 5 a.m. The hike started off nice and steady as me and a group of 4 almost immediately separated from the rest of the group, until the most fit of that little group took off, not to be seen again by me until hours later. Within a few hours, the altitude, though barely above 7,000 feet or 2,100 meters, began to take its toll, and I found myself walking slower and slower as the kilometers passed. The sun is starting to rise. I'm a little over 2 kilometers from the halfway point, where we can rest, recharge, and refill our water. This is a lot easier than the last time I tried it, but it's still freaking hard. So, halfway up, past the 7 kilometer mark. 7 more kilometers to the Refugio, where I can finally sleep. This is definitely a tough hike just because of how long it is. It's not technical or anything, it's just long. And I'm really sweaty right now, so as I get further up the mountain, it's going to get cold, so I might have to change my clothes because I'm not putting my jacket on. If my jacket gets sweaty, I'm screwed. I have to keep at least something dry. But so far, it's an amazing experience. I met some cool people. We're not talking much for obvious reasons. We have to save our breath. But probably about 4 hours to go until I can finally rest for the rest of the day. With this video, I was hoping to give an accurate depiction of just what to expect if you plan to hike Cerro Chirripo. Keep in mind, I live near sea level. So for a hike that starts at the 7,000 foot mark, it was really tough for me. I got about 7 more kilometers to go. And here come the cramps. Should have brought some salt packets with me or something. But I'll just chug some water and hope that gets rid of them, because my thighs are cramping pretty bad right now. Not bad, but enough to notice. But this view though, this place is beautiful. Let's go. At times, it was almost easy for me to ignore just how tired I was and just how cramped up my legs were because of the breathtaking views. Almost. This is tough. But I've done tougher. I got about 5 kilometers to go, and I'm moving at about 40 minutes per kilometer, so it's gonna take me at least 3 more hours. I'd encourage you to stay at high altitude for at least a few days before you start this hike if you are not yet acclimated to the altitude. I'm a little over 4 kilometers left to go to the Refugio, and then from there 6 more kilometers to the summit. But I'm not gonna start that until tonight. Now, this is tough, and now that I got a little flat area to walk on, I can put my thoughts in about why I put my body through such a tough experience. The thing about hiking is it's one of those endeavors that you can do and you see your progress immediately. You don't have to wait a year or wait a few months to see if you're making progress. You can see it immediately. But at the same time, you always know how much further you have to go. So when you're hiking, you're forcing yourself to get out of your comfort zone. Someone's catching up to me. You're forcing yourself out of your comfort zone. When you're hiking, you don't see lazy people. You don't see selfish people. You don't meet egotistical people. Everyone out here is here to help and encourage and to see you reach your goal just the way they want to reach their goal. And I believe the best people in the world exist on hiking trails. And I'm almost done. Probably 2 hours left and I'll be done. But just some thoughts as I near the end of day one of the hike. Another benefit of leaving so early in the morning is that when you finally get higher above the tree line, you're able to see off into the distance. Whereas if I was to leave later, it would be covered with fog and I'd have absolutely no view. As you can see, up here around 10,000 feet, the trees start disappearing. They get fewer and further between. But it's still pretty. Going on tough hikes is like getting a tattoo. When I'm not doing it, I wish I was. But in the process while I am doing it, I wish I wasn't. And when I'm done doing it, I'm always glad I did. I got so far until I'm done though. 10,229 feet. 2 kilometers to go. I am struggling. I am struggling. 2 kilometers. You got this going. This hike is brutal. It's brutal. And it's crazy because I've done tougher hikes than this, and I've done better on those tougher hikes. I've almost passed out twice. I almost threw up. I'm losing my voice. And I only have 1 kilometer left to go. And it's like, I just had to stop. This woman was telling me, like, just stop, chill out. And she gave me some super energy syrup or something. Then she gave me a pill for throw up, so I don't throw up. And she's like, do not leave this spot until someone else comes. Do not walk by yourself, because I am struggling right now. Oh, this... I know I'm gonna hit the summit tomorrow morning, but this is the last time I do this hike. I'm never doing anything this tough again because I'm struggling. And I can just feel it in my body, in my legs, in my back, in my throat, in my heart, in my lungs. It's just tough. So, but once I get to the top, it'll all be worth it. It'll all be worth it. I just gotta get to the top first. Wow, this is tough. In total, it took me 9 hours to hike 14.5 kilometers. This is my second time doing this hike to this refugio. And this is without a doubt, not without a doubt, you know what, yeah. This is my toughest day hike I've ever done. This is the second time I've done this hike, and both times. Last time I collapsed when I made it to the refugio. This time I just freaking sat there with a freaking 1,000-yard stare on my face. I was struggling so hard to get up this hill that at the 13-kilometer mark, which means you have a kilometer and a half left to go, someone comes running back like, "Oh, are you okay? I heard you're having trouble." So people who passed me basically saw me collapse in the dirt and were like, "Hey, you okay?" And they gave me bananas or medicine or whatever, and it didn't do anything. My body is at its limit. I'm so physically tired. So I'm about to have some lunch, have some dinner, and I'm gonna take my butt to sleep, because at 12 a.m., less than 9 hours from now, I gotta do it all again. It's a little before 2:30 in the morning. Up here at Refugio for Cerro Chirripo. Time for a 5-kilometer hike to the summit at 12,000 feet. Met a couple French buddies. I'm gonna do it with them. And it's not that cold right now, kind of windy. The sky is clear, so it should be a nice smooth hike. See you at the top. 2.5 hours. Cerro Chirripo. I made it. And now we can watch the sunrise. From the summit of Cerro Chirripo, you can see the Pacific and the Caribbean Sea at the same time. Yes, believe it or not, I'm afraid of heights. After spending about 30 minutes at the summit, taking in the view and having a snack, I finally began the descent, and it was almost as if I was going down a different trail. On the way up, I was hiking in complete darkness with nothing but the light of my headlamp to give me a view of the ground in front of me. But on the way down, I could see so much more. It was almost as if I was going on a completely different hike. It was breathtaking. Sometimes you look at a place like this, and as beautiful and breathtaking as it is, you can't help but get a little bit sad, because there's a small part of you that doesn't want to admit, but you know you're never going to see this place again. This place is fascinating. It's bittersweet.
Thanks for checking out my new channel, and big thanks to those of you that made it to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe, share, and comment. It would really help to grow the channel. And if you're interested in more pictures, videos, or testimonials from some of my travels, you can find me on Instagram at Tristin_travels or on my website at tristintravels.com. Thanks again.